the biggest thing is understanding just how prevalent insurance is in everybody's life. Doesn't matter what you're doing or what, in order for you to do anything, rent an apartment, buy a house,
It's all there,
own
man.
a car, own a business, all of that. It's just helping people understand just how prevalent it is and how important it is to understand what you're signing your name on the dotted line for.
After a long break, we are back with the Risky Assets podcast. I got some new faces and wanted to introduce them. One of the things that we're doing as we come back is that we are going to be very consistent. It's going to be entrepreneurial information. Just, hey, what are we doing as Greyhawk as a company? I want to have other entrepreneurs in here, but we're so excited to be back. And I think this is a great kickoff. And the reason why there is a bottle of whiskey on here is because my guy, John Young, who I'm introducing, came from the liquor business. So it only felt right to have it. So John, thanks for being here, bro. I know I pay you to be here.
Yeah.
But
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah. So John is one of our newer producers. So before we do that, we got to get a pour.
Yeah.
We got to get a pour. Greyhawk branded, by the way. And then just have a good pour of Garris. This has been in my cabinet for like 2 years, so it is solid. And I figured this was the time to kill it.
Man, and it's a good pick.
So it's a good pick.
I'm glad to finish the bottle with you,
I appreciate you, bro. Hey, cheers.
Yes, sir.
Come on. All right. Man, that's so good. Okay. Well, listen, getting straight into it, I don't know if people have noticed, but you're not white, so wanted to get that out there in case people didn't see. John is a former athlete. We're going to get to that. Was in the liquor business for a decade, right?
A decade.
Almost a decade. We're going to get to that and kind of what he saw. But let's start with background, because obviously born and bred in LA, right?
Correct.
All right, tell me the rundown. What's the family like? What was the situation? Where were you at?
Yeah, man. So born in Redondo Beach, California. Was in all the predominantly white institutions my entire life, which is probably why I ended up in insurance. but no, man. Yeah, grew up in Palos Verdes. Went to Loyola High School in downtown LA, and then eventually to UCLA to play football.
Yeah.
Had a 4-year ride to play football and do my thing there.
It's really cool.
Yeah. That eventually came to an end, and I had to figure out what the next move was going to be for me.
Sure.
I got in contact with this company called Athletes to Careers. They were very big in placing former athletes into professions that would fit their mental physique and all of that. So I was very fortunate to get teamed up with a company called Aldi Food Market out there for a while. And I was there for about 3 years before I had a friend tell me when I was done selling green beans, come over and sell some alcohol.
And the alcohol paid better.
Oh, it sure did. It sure did in a lot of ways.
That's good.
But yeah, so I was in the liquor industry for about 10 years. I climbed through the ranks with that company. I was a sales consultant for a good amount of time before I was an area manager, and then ultimately had a team of about 4 guys that I was overseeing.
Very cool.
All throughout LA.
And then obviously we connected after that through a series of serendipitous events, and we'll get to that too. But I mean, let's work back, because even now as I've gotten to know you more and kind of we've been working through what does sales look like in insurance, we've talked about networks and who you're around. The Loyola network has been incredible for you.
Man.
So I mean, just speak to the Loyola experience and what that was like and kind of what you're getting out of it now almost 15 years later.
Yeah, man. It's funny when I recall that time. I'm actually getting ready to speak at a little bit of a commencement thing for Loyola.
Is that
coming
this
up
week?
here.
Is that tomorrow?
That's tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
So I'm excited about that, man. But looking back at that time, that really formulated who I was as an individual. They have this whole mantra called "Man for Others."
Okay.
Where it's a service-based life, coming from a Jesuit Catholic high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whole deal. Yeah. That you want to make sure you're looking out for others. So in that true spirit, as soon as I hopped into this space where your previous networks were necessary, a lot of guys have been reaching out and assisting in a lot of major ways, whether getting me connected with individuals, giving me a shot at their business to be able to cover and protect them. It's been really cool.
Actually kind of gave me some chills, because I haven't really thought about it in that regard. I just thought it was the network being cool, but there is this hey, we're trying to bless other people here and love them up and take care of them. So that's really cool when you put it in that light.
Yeah.
And you were there. What I thought was funny is that you were commuting over an hour a day to get to school, which is kind of big boy things as a young man, you know.
My mom couldn't wait for me to get my license. I'll tell you
she
that.
was driving. I mean, you think about that too. That's crazy.
Yeah. And my I got a younger brother and sister. They're twins, and they were going to school in Palos Verdes, so she was making the trek to downtown LA,
Poor
back
girl,
to PV,
man.
and then back
What a
out to me
gangster.
again.
That's incredible.
Oh yeah, I owe her everything, 100%.
Man, well, that's a really cool story. I didn't know that part either. And then obviously you picked up football, which is a big part of your story, obviously on top of academics and whatever. But 4 years of football?
3 years of football.
3 years. Okay, so you didn't play your freshman year?
Yeah, no, my senior year. There was a whole situation, so I had to decide whether or not I wanted to continue. I had injuries that were kind of plaguing me towards the end of it, and I had to decide, hey, am I going to try to fight through these injuries and try to take a long shot at the NFL, which most people don't have the opportunity to do.
Sure.
Or hang it up and start figuring out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life.
That was at UCLA.
That was at UCLA.
Right. But Loyola. Loyola, you played all 4 years.
Yeah. Loyola was all 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously you got recruited. Did you get a full ride?
Yeah.
Full ride, which is pretty gangster too. That's pretty cool. Tight end, I think, was what you said. Played tight end, a little bulkier tight end. I remember you made the joke. You were like, I was the big boy.
Yep. They made us come in as blocking tight ends. We were running a system that required that. So yeah, I had to be a lot bigger than I am now.
So funny.
So funny.
Yeah. What kind of injuries?
All over the map, man. Labral tear, knee stuff. It was just, a lot that comes with that sport.
I get it, man. Yeah, I think as cool as it is, because it's fun to watch it from the outside, just not, being a college athlete and seeing pros, it looks cool. But at the same time, I know how hard it is to be in that space, get beat up like that. It takes a toll on everybody on top of, hey, do you want to remember your kids when you're 40, 45? I know it's a real thing. That's a real thing.
I got friends dealing with that right now.
It's scary. It's really scary. But I know it was a good experience. I think you met your wife.
Sure did.
At UCLA. Let's talk family, because that's always a big one.
Yeah.
Wife and a couple of kids?
Yeah.
Write it down.
Wife and a couple of kids. I met my wife at UCLA. We have that crazy random high school stereotype, but in college, of her cheering and me playing football. So that was how the paths.
What movie did they depict that in?
Man, just every rom-com that's out there, man. What do you mean? But yeah, we always get clowned on for that. But yeah, no, met her my freshman year of college.
Very cool.
And started dating my sophomore year. And then, yeah, we've been together almost 15 years now. Got 2 kids, 2-year-olds, twins. They're driving us crazy at home, but we love them to death. Yeah.
That's a rite of passage, man.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, keeping twins on, because you have twin siblings.
Yeah, sure do.
And then
yeah, hey, we keeping it alive. Yeah.
That's multiplication tables, man. Yeah. That's great. And then from UCLA, obviously you said, hey, just didn't feel like living that grind and just it felt like it was time to move on. You graduated and then got the job at Aldi. And let's talk about, from that point, you moved to Southern. Right. And describe that business when you started, because I think the interesting part is when you finished, you came to a really big realization, but give us the rundown of that business in general.
Yeah. I came into that industry, around 2015, 2016, in that neighborhood. Okay. Business was popping. It was crazy. Nightclubs were having a ball. Everybody was just in really good spirits.
Sure.
My first boss had told me, man, when you're happy, people drink. When people are sad, they drink. It's just.
I had a professor at CSUN say most of his investments were in liquor and alcohol because of that. When you're sad, you drink. When you're happy, you drink.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It was a quote unquote, and I'll never forget, my boss had told me at the time, it was a recession-proof industry.
Yeah.
But to kind of fast forward from what that time was to now, or before I made this adjustment, man, it definitely wasn't pandemic-proof at all. So hospitality was hurting,
bad,
very bad.
Yeah.
We were seeing double-digit closures of accounts on a monthly basis, and a lot of our favorite spots that I know a lot of people know out in the Valley or in LA were going down, and it just seemed like writing was on the wall a little bit in terms of what I wanted to do for my career. And as much love as I have for Southern, you kind of have to switch your route to market when stuff goes crazy. And unfortunately, it didn't really align with my spirit at the time. But the bigger thing, in my opinion, was the generational shift that we were seeing in the liquor industry.
So that was the first time when we were talking. And by the way, cool story before we keep going. Brian Hauser, who's a producer here.
Yep.
You guys were at a birthday party.
Man, not even.
Was it not?
No. You're talking about when he basically
wasn't it at the little trains or whatever?
Yeah, it was at a train. It was happenstance. It was complete happenstance. We were there with a group of friends, and they happened to be at that same place at the same time.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's at Griffith Park, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Brian calls me out of nowhere. He goes, "Hey, dude, I gotta talk to you right now." And it's like Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have clothes on, bro. Like, I'm at home and I'm like, what are we talking about here? I thought it was work. And then he's like, he didn't even give me a preface. He's just describing you right away.
Yeah, it's funny.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And he took a meeting at Gallagher. I'm like, Brian, what are you asking me?
Yeah.
You know, he was just so excited. He goes, "No, dude, this guy is looking to get out. He's already looking down the insurance road." And I happened to get together with him and I told him, "You got to meet my boss."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you know, I had no other context, but a couple days later we connected. We were able to talk over Zoom, talk more to Brian, and it did feel like this serendipitous, meant to be, you know, job thing or whatever of like, oh, there might be a really good opportunity here. So that's some of the context of how we got connected, which is really cool, honestly, now looking back. Then we got to golf together and, you know, I really loved your charisma and your flair. And I thought you had it. I thought you could learn insurance, but whatever it was that you have, I felt like it was there to make it work.
I appreciate that.
But at that time, you told me the world of like consuming alcohol had changed. On top of the pandemic hurting it, you said there was this generational shift. You can explain it better than I can, but it blew my mind. And then I looked at the statistics and they are real.
Oh yeah, right.
Explain that.
Right in line. Yeah. I mean, hey, it basically the people entering the drinking world in these recent years, your 21, 22, 23-year-olds, they just don't enjoy the same things that we would have enjoyed at 21, 22, 23, and our generations before us.
Yeah.
So you got that coupled with some of the economic struggles that we're dealing with. They don't have an interest in drinking, do all
Inflation's
that
real.
type of stuff.
Yeah, it's
and
expensive.
They also can't afford it. I mean,
Well, now you go out and it's $25 a drink. You know, it's like it gets hard to drink.
yeah, and I mean, it was my job to be in bars and restaurants on a regular basis. And yeah, I had an expense account to be able to handle certain things, but you know,
I'm gonna go so far.
yeah, an appetizer and a cocktail, and out of nowhere I spent $100. Like, what average kid is going to be able to do that, especially if they're first trying to get into the drinking world?
And they have college debt.
Exactly.
And their rent's $2,500 a month for a closet. You know, it's challenging in LA and through the rest of the country. And then the other part that you actually told me this, and it blew me away. You were like, 80% of the alcohol consumed is 20% of the drinkers, and those drinkers are getting older and dying.
Yep.
And so they have like this almost cascading snowball of the entrants to drink, or the young people aren't drinking, and the people who are doing a majority of the drinking are dying.
So the market is wide open at this point.
Yeah, which is incredible to think about it. So you saw the writing on the wall pre-talking to me. What made you go down the road of taking an interview with other insurance agencies? Because that was already happening in the background.
Yeah. I had that same company I mentioned earlier, Athletes to Careers. Have a really good friend that was a recruiter for them by the time I was looking for another.
Shout her out. Hey,
Taylor Snow.
Taylor, you did a good job.
Okay, you did it.
Yeah.
You absolutely did it.
I did a good job. And we've actually looked for people through it. She's incredible. She's done really great. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she said, "Hey, dude, you're the perfect fit for commercial insurance." I asked her why, how. I've never heard of it. What's the deal? And she was basically like, "Hey, this business is very much so relationship based. It's a place where you're going to have an opportunity to help a lot of different individuals, and you're also going to be able to maintain those relationships. I've seen you do all that stuff. You don't know anything about insurance, but it's something that could be taught with the right trainer, the right teacher. And you know, I think you could set the world on fire, dude." So I took her. Yeah, I took her for her word.
You said something earlier. It was like, "Hey, what am I going to be, Jake from State Farm?" Most people think, am I going to be slinging auto and home insurance the rest of my life? And is this going to be it? And it's not that you can't make a living that way, but everybody knows when you're like, man, my commission checks are $250 to $400 a piece. Like, it's a tough way to make it work, but people do it. It's fine. But yeah, in the commercial world, it's completely different. It's completely different. I think we become more financial planner alongside them, how they make their living for bigger accounts. But anyway, obviously you've kind of learned that more now. You didn't really know it then. And then as far as, all right, I'm making this move, you were pretty convinced in it because you started going down the road with another agency and feeling it out. Much bigger shop, much bigger. What made you go, hey, the smaller shop, you know, not that we're tiny, but the smaller shop was more for me?
Yeah. I had gotten down the interview line with a couple different spots pretty far. And I think it was our initial conversation about being more nimble. I'd gotten the corporate ick, man. I've been working in that space for a long time. And there was something about walking into some of those offices that I was like, this feels a lot like that. But it was instantly different when I started talking to you and then also talking to Brian as well.
Sure.
And sitting on the golf course and just kind of hearing how you guys talk out business and and how you guys communicate with each other as leader and subordinate, for lack of a better term.
Sure.
And it felt more wholesome. It felt more family oriented. It felt more direct and open and transparent. And that was something that I just hadn't been feeling in the corporate world for a long time. So it was a breath of fresh air. And that's honestly the main reason why I wanted to make that.
It's really cool. Yeah. I mean, obviously we had kind of talked through some of the things, and you also made it very clear, which I think is a testament to like your kind of culture vision for yourself, is you're like, I want to be at my kids' events. I want to support my family. I might take a step back today, but I don't think it's going to be like that for long. Like, you had actually painted a clear vision for yourself before you had even come to Greyhawk.
100%.
So when you saw it and you were like, okay, this is the right fit for me, and which I thought was cool, because I didn't really have to convince you. You were just looking, you're like, no, this is what I wanted, and which was really nice. Obviously, I think we had the structure already set up for what you'd wanted, and I think what's good for a lot of people. Ownership was another big one, right? There's a path to ownership here that's much more, I would say, tangible, and not just like some stock options.
For sure.
We went to lunch not long after you were hired. I can't remember where we went, but you were like, yeah, I went to this place and they had like a pool table or dart or something. And I was like, yeah, you know, at those big shops, they usually have them, but like they'll get pissed at you if you go over there. And you giggled. Yeah. What did you say?
Well, I said that the guy that I had talked to there, I was like, oh, you guys got a ping pong table in here? He's just like, yeah, we're not allowed to play with it though. I'm like, all right, then what's the point of having this Google office or whatever?
It's
like,
just to look the part.
Yeah.
And again, those big agencies have their place. They're very good, but they just, you trade something.
Yeah.
And I think you saw that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you straight up that if I was fresh out of college and I was trying to find that type of structure, I feel like it would have been a great move. But considering I'd been in this working world for a long time at that point, I didn't need that to get me jump started. And yeah.
I think also another testament is like, you did look at yourself and go, hey, I believe in myself. I'm going to take a little bit of a step back, but it won't be for long. I think that it's also, from my perspective, the people that I believe in, because it's like, oh, you see it before I have to convince you. And that's more entrepreneurial to me, right? So I'm very comfortable in that space, taking risk on people when it's like they're risking themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So a little bit now about, you know, you and where your place is here at Greyhawk. Obviously, you're a producer, you're in sales, you're building relationships. You have learned a lot in the past 2 months, right? And at first, a little overwhelming. Like, how are you feeling today, and how you're being supported and all that good stuff?
Yeah. I think you gave me a real good tidbit of just kind of sticking to what I knew in the beginning and kind of building my foundation and my base off of the people that I'm familiar with and those businesses I'm familiar with. So I'm spending a lot of time with my hospitality people that I already had relationships with before, and just kind of talking to them about what their coverage looks like. And hey, 8 out of 10, I'm not gonna name no names. 8 out of 10 of y'all don't know what you're doing. So it's nice to have this insight on this side and be able to understand truly how I can help them make sure their coverages match up with exactly what they need.
What's funny though is, even though now I think from even 3 weeks ago, I could tell like the puzzle pieces in your head were like, oh, I get this now. But like, you understood the business there so well that when I said, well, this is how you cover it, you were immediately like, oh, I got this, because you know that space. We were talking about going for apartments and, you know, other stuff, and I was like, hey, you can do it, and I'm really good at that
I still want that.
Yeah. And for the most part, 95% of the insurance is the same. As long as you know how to do it right, you can do 95% of the things in the world. But you were able to speak at a very high level to restaurants, bars, nightlife, because you understand how that business works. I'm very double down on what you know. I think you've seen that. But it's been really cool to see it really start to take off. The other day you were in the office and you're like, I can see the work. Like the wave is getting bigger. Which is really cool. I've been sitting in that bullpen with you guys. You know, how has that been helpful for other people? Because training and how I want people to see how we pour resources into new guys, how do you see it now that we've kind of gone through a couple of months of it?
Yeah. No, straight up, I can tell you that I've never been a part of a corporation where the principal and founder is sitting right next to all the new employees, walking them step by step through the process. And I mean, we be hitting this boy with questions on a regular basis all throughout the day. He's got his own job he's got to handle, but sitting in the office or sitting in the bullpen with you, and you being as open as you are to answer any questions, not getting frustrated with us, all that type of stuff, man, it's cool. It's really cool. And I commend you for that, for sure.
It's cool. Yeah, I mean, I just think you guys are the future. I really do. And like, I want Greyhawk to be successful. And I think I'm good at that. Like, I think that's actually one of my biggest skills is to be able to pass it down. So I think I may have said it to you guys that I was like, this is actually really satisfying now for me to be able to like do this generational thing of like, hey, I'm passing down this knowledge. And I really want people to be like, yeah, I have a great job and a good thing at Greyhawk. So I feel like that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, but you also talking like a 70-year-old founder right now.
Damn,
not,
bro.
That's not what that is.
Damn.
You are still very much so in the trenches.
I'm going to grow a gray hair tomorrow. I'm in the trenches. Yeah, no, I mean, I really am. But I know that over the long term, that's going to be really helpful to a lot of people.
Yeah.
What would you say for people? Like, so obviously we have a second producer that's new. We have an inside salesperson that's new, Thomas and Caleb. But like people from the outside world, what are you saying about insurance that you now understand? And then even Greyhawk as a whole?
Man, hey, I think the biggest thing is understanding just how prevalent insurance is in everybody's life. Doesn't matter what you're doing or what, in order for you to do anything, rent an apartment, buy a house,
It's all there,
own
man.
a car, own a business, all of that. It's just helping people understand just how prevalent it is and how important it is to understand what you're signing your name on the dotted line for. Because I got a lot of friends and family included, not to call them out either, but aren't familiar with what that stuff is, and it could really do you dirty if you don't know what your coverages are and what they look like to help you out in a covered loss.
So true. I told them all the time, it's all good till it's not good, right?
Yeah.
Like you can have the worst policy in the world. And it's fine until it's not fine,
Yeah.
right? And so like we've trained a lot on doing it right and all that, which is really cool to see that people believe in that, and a lot of clients do too. It's not all bad, but and then Greyhawk as a whole, obviously you came here. What's the general feel to other people who are considering coming in, having conversations here? Like, what would you tell them?
Yeah. It was funny because when I told a lot of friends that I was making this move here in particular and that I was hopping into the commercial insurance realm, a lot of them had the same thing to say. Like, oh, insurance, isn't that kind of a scam? What's the,
Maybe life insurance.
Yeah. Hey. I'm not here to throw shade. But overall, I think you guys have proved to me stepping into the door here that no, you're here to help individuals, truly help individuals, and dealing with all the different producers throughout the office who have been doing this for a minute and seeing how they go about their conversations with their clients, and also just their overall know-how and knowledge. It seems like this office, in comparison to many others, just puts a lot of emphasis on mastering your craft, and mastering your craft not just for you, but for your people that you're trying to service. And that, hey, hands down, is probably the greatest gift I could get, hopping into a space that I'm unfamiliar in, just being with people who really care about what this is.
What's so funny, because I'm going to tie it in now to what you said earlier about Loyola, which I think is so pure, is that like we are here to bless people. And I mean that. And I mean that's in my interior staff. I mean that for my employees. And then for my clients, I want to make sure that the stuff that we touch like is blessing people.
Yeah.
They might not see it up front, but like I'm trying to take legitimate care of them.
For sure.
And, that does kind of permeate, which is really a blessing to me to be like, yeah, people can see it, and it's tangible. But anyway, man, I was really good to get you here. I'm so happy that you ended up going, Greyhawk's the place. I think you got a lot of big things coming, which I'm so excited to see and take for the ride. So thanks for being on the podcast. Again, you didn't really have a choice anyway, but so anyway, if you guys are interested in talking about Greyhawk and seeing what a job is here, absolutely let us know. We'd love to talk to you, and we hope you enjoyed it. This is a great business, and I hope that you can see it too. And if you guys are owning a business and you're like, well, I would love to work with somebody I trust and I really want a good job done, that is Greyhawk. We're a do-it-right shop. You're going to get the best options, and you're going to get the truth. So thank you again for listening to the Risky Assets podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one.